and see the beautiful horizon on the other side of that storm. As Deuteronomy 31:6 says, be strong and of good courage, for he will not forsake you, right? Trust in God, he will not forsake you. And God didn't forsake me. I felt very lonely after Father left, especially after Don Mother was, trying to kick me out and fire me for everything, and then, of course, succeed in doing so. And I felt so alone, right? At that point, the Queen wanted to stay there and all this kind of stuff, so I felt so alone. I had nobody to confide in, right? And just completely alone. Obviously your children can't help you. The wife is dealing with all the girl emotions, and being ostracized is the greatest fear. It's like death for two women. So, and of course, the idea of leaving all those resources, the potential of that, she was scared of that, right? And of course, she shared that in the testimony, and she's repented of that to God, etc. But I was totally alone, and of course, Kuk Jung was the only one that we could basically lean on one another. That's it. Cain and Abel. That's it. We could basically just lean on one another. And I remember we were at the Lake Sanctuary, and remember that was Kuk Jung's home that he bought for his own family. But then he allowed us to stay there, and that's where we started services. But I remember we were walking around the neighborhood and just talking about, and we were just like weeping. We were just weeping and walking around the neighborhood. It was crazy. It was nuts. But it's like we only had each other, right? Our wives didn't understand. Our children didn't understand. Nobody understood. Nobody. There was nobody in the world that could understand. Everybody was judging. Everybody was saying, what the hell's going on? Everybody was still in a state of confusion. Everybody was singing the false constitution, the anthem, etc. We were completely alone in this entire world. Except for God, obviously. God and our Father was right there. But it was like, from a human perspective, we were alone. I mean, it's just me and him. And we were just, all we could do is lean on one another. That's it. It's like literally, we could only lean on one another. But when I look back on it, that time was so precious. Father showed us that, number one, he's still with us. He's not going to, he will not forsake us. Number two, that he chose us for a reason, that we would be a support to one another. Not only in terms of mission, but also in terms of siblings being brothers. So precious, so precious. And I just remember getting out here and like literally, we're just even trying to figure out what is this place where we're, driving around. Oh, this building is that. This building is that. It's like we're just even trying to find out the layout of this land, and it's like that was just a short 6 years. What, 7 years ago? Now is it 7 years? Right. But in that time, that praise music, just praising God. Oh my gosh, that like could heal my heart. It really could heal my heart and just like help me refocus, because I have always liked singing. Everybody knows that. I've always liked vocals and singing, but just the praise music just centered our hearts on God. And I remember when our kids are here, I would have that conversation with the children, that they have to also watch out what they consume through their ears. And, secular music is the same patterns of adultery, cheating, licentiousness, free sex culture, bang, bang, banging this girl, banging that girl. It's just stupid. It's just pathetic. It's just stupid and mammalian. Okay, it's just like a reptilian and mammalian level of brain. Seriously. And so, I even talked to my children about that, because their kids and their friends are listening to this secular music center. And we had a discussion about how important it is to what you consume with your ears as well, and that you consume things that strengthen your spirit and soul. And so all of them actually listen to gospel music, right? Because because Daddy emphasized and how stupid and how weak and how actually depressed pop music makes you. It makes you very depressed, right? It makes you delusional. Whereas the Word of God through gospel songs, some more than others, are still cool. There's a lot of still cool genres and still very nice music that's been produced that sounds like popular music, but the lyrics are spirit-filled. The lyrics remind us of our sinfulness, or remind us of our weakness, but then through Christ we are strong. Through Christ we are not forsaken. Through Christ we are remembered. Through Christ we are known. God knows us by name, right? And that is power. That is power. Job is doing that. He is praising God. He's not, I don't know if he's singing or not, and I'm thinking singing, but he is remembering like the greatness of God. Like, look, this is the God that compassed the water, and the pillars of heaven tremble and astonished at his reproof. This is a great God. He's a glory. Our God has power, right? Even though we feel powerless in this tribulation and tragedy, our God has power. He created the heavens. He holds the pillars of heaven, right? He shakes them with his reproof. He astonishes them. He compasses the waters in his bounds. He holds the earth in his hand, you know. This is our God. We have no power in this tragedy. We have no power in this life tribulation. But God has power, you see. And he is my rock and my salvation, like the lifeboat, right? I can hold on to this raft, this lifeboat, right? God has power. Right? When you feel helpless, God is our help. He is powerful. He is able. When we are unable, he is able. When we are weak, he is strong. Right? We can lean on him. We can hold on to him, that lifeboat in that midst of the storm. And we can penetrate and cut through the waves and see the beautiful horizon on the other side of that storm. And see the beautiful horizon on the other side of that storm.